About 90 minutes north from the baptismal site is the Jerash Archaeological Site and Museum. From the city of Amman, the site is about a 45-minute drive north.
Like other sites in Jordan, the operating hours change based on the time of year. During our visit, the winter hours, November through April, were 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The summer hours were 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. In April and May, it's 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And during the holy month of Ramadan, it is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. As always, we recommend double checking the operating hours as it gets closer to your trip.
At the time of our visit, the cost was 10 Jordanian dinars. If you have the Jordan Pass, this site would be covered.
Nestled in the broad valley of the biblical mountains of Gilead, about 50 kilometers north of Amman, Jerash is one of the largest and best preserved Roman cities in the Middle East. Known as Gerasa in antiquity, it was one of the 10 cities of the Decapolis, a league of culturally Greek cities that came under Roman control in the 1st century BCE. The New Testament mentions this league in the Gospels of Matthew and Mark.
By the Byzantine period, Jerash became a Christian city, boasting over 20 churches for its population of approximately 25,000. Bishops from Jerash actively participated in early church councils, and the ruins of these ancient churches still echo the city's spiritual legacy.
However, Jerash's fortunes declined in the 7th century due to Persian and Muslim conquests, compounded by devastating earthquakes in the 8th century. The city was abandoned and lay buried in sand for centuries, only to be rediscovered in the early 19th century in remarkable condition.
Your journey to the archaeological site begins just outside the ancient city, marked by a magnificent triumphal arch with 3 grand openings. This structure was built to honor Emperor Hadrian's visit in 129 to 130 AD. Adjacent to the arch lies a 2nd century Hippodrome, a sprawling arena that once held up to 15,000 spectators who gathered to witness exhilarating horse and chariot races. In its recent history, the site hosted chariot reenactments, offering a vivid glimpse into the thrilling spectacles of the ancient world.
To the right of the Hippodrome, across the road, stands the Church of Marianos, an architectural gem built in 570 AD during the term of Bishop Marianos, for whom it was named. This church is renowned for its breathtaking mosaic floors featuring intricate geometric designs that have earned the nickname the Mosaic Church. Surrounding the church are numerous subterranean tombs dating back to the 1st and 2nd centuries, part of what is known as the Southern Necropolis, adding to the site's rich historical tapestry.
Continuing north past the visitor center, you will encounter the Southern Gate, a grand monumental arch that marks the southern entrance to the ancient city. Today, this gate serves as the primary access point to the site, though this was not always the case. Beyond the gate lies a vaulted passage that once served as the original entrance to ancient Gerasa, situated at the beginning of the historic road leading to Philadelphia.
The Southern Gate later became part of a 3.4-kilometer-long city wall constructed in the early 4th century CE, likely in response to a devastating looting incident that resulted in widespread destruction across the city. Interestingly, archaeological evidence suggests that no earlier defensive walls existed, indicating that Jerash remained an open city well into the early Byzantine period.
After passing through the Southern Gate, you'll find the Temple of Zeus to your left, perched atop a hill with a commanding view of the Oval Plaza. This sacred site served as the place of worship from the Bronze Age through the late Roman period. During the Roman era, a significant religious monument was constructed here and later expanded to encompass the hilltop.
The temple comprises 2 main sections: the lower terrace, built around 27 AD, and the upper terrace, completed around 162 AD. In the mid-5th century, the sanctuary was repurposed by Byzantine settlers as a monastery, and later by farmers and craftsmen. Following the devastating earthquake of 749 AD, the site was abandoned but saw brief reoccupation in the 12th century by a small group of crusaders. Today, the temple stands as a testament to the layers of history that have shaped this remarkable site.
Adjacent to the Temple of Zeus stands the Southern Theater, the largest and oldest of the theaters in Jerash. Constructed between 80 and 96 AD, This grand structure could accommodate over 3,000 spectators. Inscriptions discovered at the site reveal that its construction was funded by several generous benefactors, including a former Roman legionnaire.
In ancient Roman society, theaters were central to cultural life, hosting a variety of performances that entertained and united the community. Though parts of the theater were damaged during the earthquake of 749 AD, it likely found new purpose in the medieval period as a fortress, providing refuge for a small group of crusaders before the region was permanently reconquered.
Despite its turbulent history, the Southern Theater remains remarkably well preserved. Today, it continues to serve as a venue for concerts and other performances, a living testament to its enduring legacy.
Below the Southern Theater and the Temple of Zeus lies the iconic Oval Plaza, a stunning example of Gerassa's architectural splendor and urban planning. This expansive plaza served as a vital connection between the Cardo, the main north-south street of Gerasa, and the sanctuary of Zeus.
Constructed in the early 2nd century, during Emperor Trajan's reign, the plaza's defining feature is the colonnade of Ionic columns encircling its perimeter. However, the elegant stone paving was not added until the 4th century.
At the plaza's center once stood two small but significant monuments. The first was a base likely supporting a group of statues, possibly depicting priestesses. The second was a smaller base with 4 columns thought to have housed a statue of the emperor.
The Oval Plaza would have functioned as a bustling forum, a hub for political, social, and religious activities. It was a vibrant setting for triumphal processions, public speeches, criminal trials, and commercial transactions. Today, the Oval Plaza remains one of the most evocative and well-preserved features of Jerash, capturing the grandeur of its Roman heritage.
The main street, the Cardo Maximus, extends for 800 meters in a northerly direction from the Oval Plaza.
Continuing north, the first structure on your right is the site's museum, while a little further to the left lies the Macellum, an ancient food market. The term Macellum comes from Latin and refers to a marketplace, and this was constructed towards the end of the 2nd century.
The Macellum features an octagonal design centered around a paved courtyard with a Greek cross-shaped fountain at its focal point. Surrounding the courtyard is a portico adorned with Corinthian columns, which opened into large niches where merchant stalls were set up. One of these niches appears to have served as a butcher shop, as evidenced by a thick stone slab bearing numerous knife marks and grooves. The slab space is sculpted with animal motifs, further suggesting its use in meat preparation.
Adjacent to the Macellum stands a mosque dating back to the Umayyad or Abbasid era. During the early Umayyad rule, it is believed that most of the city's population remained Christian, with Muslims primarily occupying administrative roles. As a result, many of the city's churches continued to function.
Over time, however, the population gradually began converting to Islam, creating the need for a dedicated place of worship for the growing Muslim community. In response, a large mosque was constructed in the center of the city during the first half of the 8th century, reflecting the significant cultural and religious shift.
Continuing along the Cardo Maximus toward the north gate, when you reach the intersection, you will see the remains of the south tetrapylon. Tetrapylon stands for 4 gates or pillars. This structure usually has a portal on all 4 sides. Today, all that remains are the 4 pedestals, which once supported statues to the tetrarchs: Diocletian, Maximian, Hercules, Constantius Chlorus, and Galerius. To see a more complete tetrapylon, further up on the Cardo Maximus is the north tetrapylon.
Next up, past the south tetrapylon, you will encounter 2 significant structures on your left: the cathedral and the Church of St. Theodore.
The cathedral, despite its name, shows no evidence of serving as the seat of a bishop. It is, however, the oldest church in Jerash, built atop the ruins of a Roman temple that may have been dedicated to Dionysus, the god of wine. The cathedral's outdoor atrium features a small pool thought to have been filled with wine during celebrations of the miracle at the wedding of Cana. Along the outer eastern wall is a shrine dedicated to the Virgin Mary, with an inscription mentioning her and the archangels Michael and Gabriel. Notably, some of the stones used in its construction were repurposed from the nearby Temple of Zeus.
To the west of the cathedral on a higher level lies the Church of St. Theodore. An inscription dates its construction to 494 to 496 AD during the tenure of Aeneas in honor of St. Theodore. Above the main doorway, another inscription reads, "The one passing by this place used to close his nose because of the bad smell. Today, he raises his right hand and draws the sign of the Holy Cross." This likely references the sacrifices once burned on the nearby altar of the Temple of Artemis. The church was undergoing renovations when it was destroyed by the earthquake of 749 AD.
Further west, the church complex comprises three interconnected churches sharing walls in a common atrium, all built between 529 and 533 AD.
The Church of St. George on the south side was still in use during the 8th century. However, its mosaics were defaced by iconoclasts opposed to the depiction of humans and animals.
The Church of St. John the Baptist at the center has a mosaic floor that, despite damage, still displays images of the four seasons, plants, animals, and representations of the Egyptian cities of Alexandria and Memphis.
The Church of Saints Cosmas and Damian on the north side features the most splendid mosaic in Jerash. It includes depictions of gazelles, rabbits, peacocks, sheep, and other animals, as well as churchwarden Theodore and his wife Georgia praying with outstretched arms. Saints Cosmas and Damian, twin brothers and doctors, were martyred by the Romans. Known as the unmercenary saints, they practiced medicine without charge, serving the poor selflessly.
Behind the church complex lies the Church of St. Genesius, built in 611 AD. This is one of Jerash's last churches before the Persian invasion.
Back on the Cardo Maximus, next to the cathedral, is the Nymphaeum. As Gerasa flourished and grew, the need for a reliable water source became crucial. By 125 AD, a water system was established, and by the late 2nd century, the main aqueduct's flow was increased to meet the rising demand, particularly after the construction of the baths. To further enhance the city's water infrastructure, the monumental Nymphaeum was built around 190 to 191 AD, providing a central water source to complement the smaller fountains along the Cardo.
This grand fountain served as a vital public resource, meeting the daily water needs of the city's inhabitants.
Near the Nymphaeum and the Propylaeum of Artemis, you'll encounter a fascinating engineering marvel, the Roman moving columns. Unlike typical columns, these sway subtly in response to a breeze or minor seismic activity, a testament to ancient ingenuity. Their movement is due to their unique construction, slightly conical drums stacked without rigid fixation, allowing for flexibility. Located in a seismically active area, this design absorbed energy from small earthquakes, preserving the structures for centuries. Visitors can witness this phenomenon firsthand, even feeling the movement by placing fingers in the column's crevices. As a demonstration, our guide stuck a spoon in a crevice at the base of the column and pushed the column. You can see in the video the spoon bobbed up and down.
Next, the nearby Propylaeum served as the ceremonial gateway, separating the sacred Temple of Artemis from the secular city. Built as a shrine to Artemis, the patron goddess of Gerasa, the temple was intended to honor her as the protector of nature, animals, and chastity. Construction began in the 2nd century, but was never completed, with only 12 of the planned 32 columns erected. Over time, the temple may have been repurposed as a church and later as a crusader fort.
Across the Cardo Maximus from the Propylaeum lies the Church of the Propylaea. Originally part of Artemis's sanctuary before its conversion to a Christian church, it was likely destroyed by the devastating earthquake of 749 AD.
Continuing north along the Cardo, you'll find the ruins of the Western Baths on your right. Built in the 2nd century, this impressive complex featured hot, warm, and cold baths. Roman baths served as a social hub, where citizens gathered for relaxation, music, and lively discussions.
Opposite the baths is the North Theater. Initially constructed as a meeting place for the municipal council and representatives of Gerasa's 12 civic tribes. Later, it became an Odeon for music and poetry recitals. Built during the reign of Hadrian or Trajan, it was damaged in the 749 earthquake.
West of the North Theater are the remains of the Church of Bishop Isaiah, Built in 621, an inscription commemorates its construction during Bishop Isaiah's tenure, using repurposed Roman materials. Its mosaic floor, though partially mutilated by iconoclasts, retains intricate designs. The church, like many structures, was destroyed in the 749 earthquake.
To the north of the theater are the Agora and a public building, once bustling centers for civic life. The Agora served as an open meeting space, while the public building likely hosted official gatherings and court proceedings. Charred remains suggest that they were destroyed in a violent fire, possibly during a late 3rd century raid.
The Cardo Maximus concludes at the north gate, constructed around 115 AD and commissioned by Claudius Severus. Dedicated to Emperor Trajan as the city's founder and savior, this monumental gateway marks the northern boundary of ancient Jerash.
The ancient city of Jerash showcases the brilliance, resilience, and cultural diversity of its past inhabitants. From the grandeur of its arches and temples to the intricate mosaics and lively public spaces, every corner of the site tells a story of innovation and faith. Its well-preserved ruins offer an immersive journey through time, connecting modern explorers to the ambitions and artistry of the centuries gone by. Jerash is not just a glimpse into the past, it's a living tribute to the enduring mark of human achievement.